Yo, welcome to another episode of Coach Walker TV. And on today's episode, we are going to talk about why the Steelers will win the AFC North this year and make a run in the playoffs. But before we can get into that, we have to talk about the Ravens versus the Bengals, as AFC North football is about to get very real. So let's jump right into it. So before we even begin to talk about why the Steelers are going to win the AFC North division and make a run in the playoffs this season, we can't skip to that without first discussing a big AFC North matchup that is happening this week as we begin week 11. The Ravens versus the Bengals. What a big game we have coming up in the AFC North. So both teams are coming off very close losses last week. The Bengals losing a close game to the Texans. The Ravens losing a close game to the Browns. And we'll talk about the Browns here a little bit too. But both teams are, sharp in the division, even though the Bengals are sitting at 5-4 right now. The Ravens sitting at 7-3. It's a tight race. The AFC North is stacked this year with all the things that are going on in it. So I see the Bengals coming into Baltimore. They're going to have some fight in them. Obviously, Baltimore's going to have some fight in them. I mean, they both, again, coming off losses, so they are trying to win. The worst thing that can happen in this game is a tie. But you're talking about Lamar Jackson versus Joe Burrow. That is going to be a very good matchup on a Thursday night. And typically Thursday night games aren't that great, but this one's going to be good. So Ravens, Bengals, this is going to determine a lot as far as what's going to start to happen in the AFC North division this year, as the Steelers can sit back and watch this one on a Thursday night. But prediction wise, I feel like that the Ravens are going to come in, they're going to play tough. They're going to play hard. Lamar Jackson, he has his weapons he's going to use, including his legs, his receivers. You saw Odell Beckham Jr. make a play last week. Maybe he's, getting into the groove a little bit. But the Bengals, hey, listen, they've made some deep runs. They've been to the Super Bowl in recent years. They have been to some AFC Championship games. Joe Burrow knows what's going on. That 5-4, I don't think is going to bother the Bengals at this time. They are going to come in that stadium and they're going to be ready to play. But here's what I think is going to happen. I still think that the Ravens are going to edge them out. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be hard fought, and they're going to beat each other up. This is what happens in AFC North football. As we know, AFC North football is the toughest football in the NFL. But the Bengals are going to come in. They're going to play hard. The Ravens are going to play hard, but I think the Ravens are going to edge the Bengals out 24-21 Ravens on a Thursday night. The Ravens are going to move to 8-3 and still be at the top of the division for now. But they still have the Steelers to play, and I'm going to talk about why the Steelers are going to come out on top on the AFC North this year, no matter what happens on Thursday Night Football. All right. So now, let's discuss why I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers will win the AFC North division and make a little run in the playoffs. Now, my conjecture is simply one thing. They can win the next 6 out of 8 games to close out their schedule. Very simple. I'll start with this. Number one, they are finding ways to win football games. It doesn't matter in the NFL if you win by 1 or if you win by 21. We can talk about the offense is not doing this, the defense is doing that, Tomlin this, Tomlin that, Canada this, Canada that. We can talk about that till the cows come home. However, at the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers are finding ways to win football games. So out of the next 8 games that they have left on the schedule, I believe they can win at least 6 of them. So let's talk about the schedule real quick. I have it pulled up down here on my notes. So let's look at it. We have to go to Cleveland. All right, the Steelers off to Cleveland. Cleveland just lost their starting quarterback. Now, P.J. Walker is going to step in for Deshaun Watson, and we'll see how that goes. But I think P.J. Walker is not a bad quarterback. He's still in the league. He played for the Carolina Panthers for a little bit. Had a chance to watch him play. I think he's pretty good. XFL, I think it was, but he's a good quarterback. So I don't think there's going to be that much of a drop off having to go to Cleveland and play the Browns. But I think that's a winnable game. Depending on what happens with the Bengals here on Thursday night coming up, how beat up they are, if they lose and their record starts to go down, are they going to start to slide up out of there and but the Steelers have to go to Cincinnati. So you got 2 road games back to back, but then here's the key to this. You have the Cardinals coming in, you have the Patriots coming into Pittsburgh, and then you have the Pittsburgh headed off to the Colts. That's 3 games right there, 3 winnable games, easy. Then you have the Bengals again, the Seahawks, and the Ravens. So I mean, the only games that I can see that the Steelers possibly lose out of the last 8 would be maybe a second game to Cincinnati, and maybe the Seahawks. Either Cincinnati or the Ravens, they may slip up and give one of those 2 division opponents a win, and they lose one of those divisional games playing those guys for the second time. However, I do think they may give one up in Seattle, having to travel over to the West Coast. That's usually a tough game, and that is a 4 o'clock game. So yes, with them traveling over, so I only see the Steelers really giving up 2 games out of the last 8. That's going to put them at 12-5. And to be honest, if they go ahead and knock the Ravens off for the second time, and then beat the Bengals twice, and knock the Browns out, that gives them the division right there. It's right in their hands. So right now, the Steelers control their own destiny. I'm a believer in that. It's up to them. It's going to be up to them. Are they going to play well? And then you have to remember, here's the other key to this. We're getting the tight end back. Pat Freiermuth is on his way back. They put him on the 21-day list, and there's a big possibility that he plays on Sunday. He comes back healthy. Kenny Pickett has another target. And we're going to have to talk about Kenny Pickett. And, I know some guys out there are, flim flam on Kenny Pickett. I'm one of them. Sometimes he plays well. Sometimes he doesn't play so well. But we're going to talk about Kenny Pickett. But he is going to get one of his big targets back. That's going to be big for the offense. Hopefully that helps produce a few more points. Like Thomas said, we're going to need more. But if you keep finding ways to win, that's all that matters. So I believe that the Steelers can win the AFC North. So why don't y'all let me know if y'all agree with me, disagree with me, and let's talk about it, man. But I think it's going to happen. And when they get to the playoffs, once again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, they are going to be a team that no one wants to play. And if they win the division, they're going to have the first playoff game at home. Nobody's going to want to go to Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden we're going to be talking about how Mike Tomlin does it again. All right, so y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Y'all think the Steelers gonna win the division? Think the Steelers gonna make the playoffs? How many games you think they'll win before it's all over this season? All right, so look, if you like my content, loving what I'm doing, loving the conversation, like, subscribe, share. Hey, let's have a conversation. Y'all hit me up. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.